Okay. All right. In 3, 2, 1.
Okay, everybody, nasty little freaks, welcome back to Art Girlie Poser Club podcast. We
It's good to
somehow
be
made it.
back.
We somehow made it here again.
Every episode is a miracle. I'm Steven.
I'm Beth.
And we're trying really, really hard, you guys. We're trying so hard to make this happen.
I think that if we had started recording when we first started the call, everyone would see we're not exaggerating about how hard we're trying. I got all new gear for this
Yeah,
episode.
we're serious about it. This is real gamer hours out here.
Yeah, we're very serious about this. So that's why you should all comment, subscribe. Because we're very serious about getting validated.
I know it's hard to remember to comment when you're like most of the way through the episode because I only remember if somebody asks me to do it in the first 2 minutes. So comment in the comment section about your favorite part of the video you haven't heard it yet. Just make up something. Just make up
Yes,
something. I always love a good
that would
bit.
that would be amazing. And then maybe we'll use it in the next one.
So true. So, Bethany, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well, I think. Hard to tell, but yeah, pretty well. Definitely not in my manic phase, so it's kind of a bummer.
Because you can weaponize that for profit.
Yes. So all I did this morning was yoga, and I drew Splinter from Ninja Turtles,
Yes.
and it was very lovely. But as I was drawing him, I started getting angsty, I should have recorded this or something because this is nothing now. It's just in my journal, and that should be enough. It should be enough for me because I had a good time and it was relaxing until I started thinking about how I wasn't producing something.
Yep. Yeah, I had that too where I'm like, oh, I'm doing such a good job doing my organizational journaling in the Hobonichi, and I'm like, oh, I didn't record it. It doesn't even count anymore.
Ugh, it's terrible. Have you been doing that every day?
No. But that's kind of the part of the learning process because I'm like, because I think when I do try to do it every day and then I miss it, then I get a complex about it. And then
Yeah,
it gets so
totally.
much harder to go back to it.
I was just thinking about all the things. Okay, so with the rat guy, I did not record it, but then the things that I did, you know, I just have this block about making content,
Mm-hmm.
and there was times these past couple weeks where I was like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna make the content, and then I don't want to say it was a fail, but here's an example. I recorded myself showing my mocha haul because in the last episode, I'm sure you all remember, I did that, but then I did a terrible job showing in the hand cam what I got. So I was like, I'll do it again and I'll make it a reel. Well, it's way too long to be a reel. I recorded the whole thing and it's so long. I didn't know reels were so short. So then I was like, well, I guess I could put it into parts, but I haven't done that yet. And then it's been so long since I did that. Now I'm like, no one cares. No one cares about this anymore.
You gotta start picking more activities that take a minute or less to show and explain. No complexity. We need to just simplify things for 59 seconds or less.
That's so hard. But I made some content that's really good of putting together your happy mail that I sent you. But you never got the mail, so I
I check
can't make
every
a
day.
reel.
I check every day. It's been 3 weeks and it still hasn't arrived.
I can't make a reel showing you what you didn't get. I'm so sad.
Wow, look, nothing.
So that's just sitting in my Google Drive.
Yeah.
And then I'll be done after this one, I promise. I made a website like I told my therapist I would. and now it doesn't work. Like you type in my whatchamacallit
URL?
domain, and it
Domain?
doesn't work.
Wait,
It
how
says
is...
like network error or something like that.
Oh, it's through Squarespace?
Yeah, it's through Squarespace, and I go to Squarespace, and it's showing me like no signs of anything wrong. And then I go to like the search help thingy. Of course, my problem doesn't come up. So then I'm like, well, is there a phone number? There's no phone number. I can't call a person. So I might just have to ask AI, I guess.
Yeah, that
I was trying to
blows.
avoid that guy.
That
Yeah,
blows.
I'm paying a big chunk of money for this domain and website, and I'm like so proud of it. Actually, I think it looks good,
Yeah.
and now nobody can see it.
It feels like at every turn we're being
Oh,
punished for trying to be creative and get our things out into the world.
yeah, this is the last one. I promise. I made a dentist appointment, and I was so proud of myself. And then the dentist canceled on me, and now I'm never gonna get my teeth cleaned. So
You know, that's his fault. If your
yeah,
bones rot,
well,
that's his fault.
I just think I should stop doing the stuff that's hard for me because it doesn't work out anyway.
Yeah. Something when because I've been sort of talking to different friends about how they use their Hobonichi journals and like how they try to organize their life. And one friend, shout out to Toe Beans, Rachel, she was saying like when she makes lists for herself that she includes like, I think she said she only does like three things, or she only put down three things, and at least one of them has to be like
Okay,
a fun thing that she wants to do to like incentivize
I
her to
love
actually do the
that.
list. Yeah, and I was like, that's so good because it's like you can add more things, but if you write down all 10 things to start with, you're only going to like fail yourself and the list and then feel bad about it and then have a complex about it and then rot in bed for 3 days. So,
Yeah,
I thought it was a very very wise idea.
that's super smart. I have 3 lists going at all times, which is too many. So I like the idea of a list with 3 things. Is it like for that day?
Yeah, I think it's like that day.
That's really smart.
I know. Are your
Do you
3
have a list
lists?
today?
No, I don't. I've switched to sort of turning it into I write down things I accomplished and then maybe write down a list. It's like a mix. I'm like living in the future and also the past.
Not the present, though.
Certainly not the present. I don't want to be here.
Which one do you like better, future or past?
Probably past because that it's locked in, can't be changed, or like I know what's happening
Hmm,
there.
interesting.
I know. Future's scary. Past is sad. Sad's easier to deal with.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Well, this exact moment is nice.
It is. Even if this podcast, like even if all the files crash, we're still just hanging out, and that's kind of nice.
Yeah, even if my
Knock on wood.
mic,
Knock on wood.
this little mic just feels like such a little toy. It can't be real. So if it's a toy, that's okay.
It's
We're just
okay.
hanging out.
We're just vibing here.
We used to hang out without, making content.
I will say, I feel like a lot of our early friendship, we had to have a reason to hang out. Would you say that's true?
Hmm.
Like ye old Protestant work ethic. Like let's go to a coffee shop and do our homework. Like
That's true. Yeah. Did we ever hang out for fun? Hmm.
eventually, it took a
I think
while.
we played that really fun game, Smash Up.
Oh yeah,
We did that for fun. That was one thing we did for
that
fun.
was the one thing we
No, we
did for
went on a
fun.
road trip. That was for
Yeah,
fun.
that took years to get there though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's okay. We're slow learners.
we're getting there.
Yeah. Oh, we should tell everyone what we're doing.
What are we doing?
Well, what are you doing?
I'm drawing with my Parker fountain pen. Ooh, I'm a fountain pen guy
Whoa!
now. It's not the dip kind.
Refillable?
Yeah, refillable. It's got the cartridge. So I started with the blue ink, and I kind of just got it because again, I'm not immune to propaganda, and I saw YouTubers using it like a similar fountain pen. I'll stop naming them because it's going to be the same three people every time. But I was like, that looks fun, and I was sad, so I went to the stationery store near my old neighborhood.
Ooh,
I was like, "Do you have
I know
any?"
that one.
Yeah, shorthand. It's a good one.
Shorthand, yes. Oh, I was just at the bookstore the other day, and all the best stuff there was from shorthand.
Really?
And I was like,
Oh, LA
LA.
baby. Nothing but good taste. Um,
Okay, go on.
but yeah, I just like sometimes I'm of the opinion that the tool doesn't matter for making the art, you know? Like sometimes it's like you
Yeah,
see
sometimes I think that too.
you see these people doing these beautiful things in just ballpoint pen. And I actually am a ballpoint pen enjoyer, but I was like, I kind of just want to try something different, and I've never taken the fountain pen plunge because there's no like upper limit of like how expensive they get, and I'll get fixated on like, oh, I want to get the next nicest one. But I'm trying to just enjoy my art supplies and just kind of run them into the ground, if that makes sense. Um, and so I was like, I will get one fountain pen, and I love it. This is like all I want to use now because it has just enough like resistance that I don't feel like I'm snapping the nib like I do whenever I draw with small microns. Um, and it has a nice flow, and like I know what the line weight's gonna be, but at the same time, like kind of holding it at different angles, you get the different types of lines. Like you can get sort of a more broken line if you use just the edge. So yeah, I'm like, why haven't I really gotten into this before? But I'm enjoying it. It's just a nice thing, and it's as simple as that.
So it came with different colors?
It came with one blue ink cartridge and one black ink cartridge. So whenever blue runs out, I'll switch to black.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now I want one, of course. And I'm like,
Yep.
I bet they have it at that McNally Jackson I went to.
Is that a stationery
But
store in?
yeah, it's technically a bookstore, but they have a huge stationery section.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually the only the only part of the store I end up looking at.
Yeah.
But that's where I got my favorite pen, which is a Pilot something. Where is it? Guess you'll never know.
Is it like
Oh, here it is. Pilot Juice Up.
is it just like a normal pen that's just pretty good? Oh.
Well, I got just the black one there, and it's just really good for drawing. It's 0.3
Oh, interesting.
tip, really skinny,
Uh-huh.
but it comes out so smooth. I don't know how to describe it, but I love it. Can write really small. It's good for drawing. That's all.
The drawing supply is good for drawing.
Yeah. It's doing its job.
I'm making some sort of naturey scene here, and I'm gonna send.
Don't tell me too much.
Yeah, I can't tell you too much because I don't know where this is going. This is really just off the cuff here. I'm making some sort of scene, and I'll put some sort of living thing in there. Have a subject matter, I suppose, and then I'm gonna send it to Beth, and then she's going to. What are you gonna do?
I'm going to use it as like my sketch basically. I'm just going to turn the whole thing into a collage.
Hell yeah! And what are you doing today, Beth?
Copy it. Today I am making patterned papers, and I'm going to send them to Steven, and then he's going to make something with them.
Gonna make something.
I have a lot more direction than you, which is nice. I like having direction.
Yeah. I thrive with limitations though. If there's if all you send me is just paper, I'm sure I can figure it out. That's at least something rather than like a blank piece of paper. Like what I'm doing is harder for me than if you just hand me a sheet of textured paper, because then at least I can look at that and be like, this reminds me of oatmeal, or this reminds me of wallpaper from my grandma's house, and then I can kind of roll with that.
Okay. Improv.
Improv.
You sign up for a class yet?
Not yet. I, for the listeners at home, I've been threatening to take an improv class for like many years now, but I haven't done it yet. I was going to this year, and then when I was let go recently, I was like, I probably should be fiscally responsible, but also maybe I should just do it and live my life, because it'd be nice to meet some other funny people who aren't also animation people, because I've been realizing how small and insular my world is, because I mostly hang out with animation people these days. And I love animation
Oh.
people, but it I don't know. I get a little bit too in the weeds of that, if that makes sense, like where you only hang out with like one group of people you really like, and then you find yourself getting judgy to like anybody who's not in that in group, and you're like,
Yeah.
this is how I become a very close-minded old person. I need to not do this. So obviously the answer is to go hang out with the most annoying people you've ever met. People trying get into comedy.
Oh yeah. Improv attracts great people. As one of my improv classmates said, no normies
No normies
take that
allowed.
class. But it's also like such a range of backgrounds and professions. It's super great. I think you'll love it. And everyone's so nice.
I'm a little intimidated because I think, kind of related to what we're just talking about, of like having limitations versus having like a blank page. I think my sense of humor is I like doing, I guess, like observational things, or I like having a pithy response to what other people are talking about. Like
Oh, that's
I
perfect.
like replying to things, but if people are just like go, I think I have a hard time conjuring up things out of nothing to make a scene about or like be funny about.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say is if you're trying to be funny, it's not going to
Oh,
work.
this is gonna really challenge my ego if I do
So
this. Then,
you're just gonna go for it. It's gonna be great.
yeah. So I'm gonna.
Have you you go.
So I'm gonna do improv comedy. What are you gonna add to your life next?
I'm in the process of taking things out. I
You're
just
so smart. You're so smart.
well, it got to the point because I was like adding. Because when okay, so this is like a long process. When I first moved here, I had nothing, and I was so sad and alone. So I kept adding, and then I finally got to this point 3 years later where I'm like, whoa, too much, too much. So I quit my storytelling group, and I just finished my storytelling class, so that's good. And then I was watching Lost with my friend once a week, and I'm gonna make that every other week. And I was going to a drawing meetup, but now I'm gonna do that maybe once a month. I actually haven't gone in a long time,
It sounded
but
socially chaotic.
yeah, a little bit. But it was worth it, like for the end when there was some organization and people were sharing and people were nice. And I met some like people. I was like, oh man, I would really like to be your friend, but it's hard to make the move.
Yeah. Adult friendships really hard to like show that intentionality without coming off like you're hitting on them or that you're a huge creep.
Yeah, and in some contexts, it's so easy. Like at church with other women, so easy.
Yeah.
It's just like, let's hang out. Woohoo! We're friends.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
This is safe.
But
Woohoo.
any other context, it's like, well, you know what? I am having coffee with one of my storytelling classmates tomorrow,
Oh.
so that's cool.
And there's no weird vibes there. You're not like, what are we?
No, so far so good. Seems good. I mean, we'll see.
Just wait as you sit down and it's a
But
DTR.
That would be interesting anyway.
Okay, is DTR a not universal expression? Does not everybody know that term?
I mean, I didn't know it till it happened to me.
Yeah. It feels like a Christian adjacent term.
Hmm. When did you first hear it?
I heard it probably in high school or college, like people talking about like first relationships or like the one I think of is like when I toured the Christian college that like my dad went to. The tour guide pointed out this really nice spot by a pond with a little bench. He's like, "Oh, that's where couples go to DTR."
Oh my god!
Or I guess they're not couples. That's where people go to DTR.
Future couples go to
Yeah, once
DTR.
and future couples go to DTR.
That's hilarious.
And then
And you knew what it meant at that point?
I guess so, but the reason I'm like maybe it's not a universal thing is like I have a friend who runs an animation mentorship with like a more experienced animation person, and my friend was in the Christian world for a long time before like working in animation, and then the the guy who runs the mentorship was talking about like how to talk to your mentees, and he's like, oh yeah, so you need to decide to like have a DTR. Thanks to my friend for telling me what that means.
Oh.
Basically, so like your mentee and the mentor know what the expectations are going in.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
Very smart.
Yeah, he didn't know that term, and he's in his 40s and stuff. So it makes me wonder if it's not like it's maybe like a in the same way that the love languages kind of started as a Christianese thing and is now sort of a universal thing that you hear everywhere. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess put in the comments if you know what DTR means.
Yes.
I don't think we even said what each letter means, so.
Yeah. Put your guess, and then we'll wait 5 seconds, and then we'll tell you.
Oh man, I think you know the story of when I first heard the term, but
Dogs
it
treading
was
ravioli.
so. Yeah.
Define the relationship.
Oh my gosh.
What was the first time you heard it?
Oh, now you told everybody.
It's okay. I gave them a chance to reply.
Um, it was when our mutual friend was like, "I think we need a DTR," and I was like, "I don't know what that means."
Kind of sounds like DTF.
And he was like, "Yeah, you do," and I was like, "No, I don't. I could not." I was like, "Just tell me what is happening."
Yeah.
It was so interesting.
The opposite of a DTF, if anything.
Yeah, it is. But I'm glad I know now. I'll be caught unawares again.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of art girly things have you been up to lately?
Oh man, I've been on a tear. I got inspired partially by having to listen back to my own voices. I edited the last podcast, but I did apply with some friends to LA Zine Fest, which will be the first Zine Fest I've done in I think it's 6 years. I think the last one was 2018.
Wow.
So when I was trying to pull up samples of my past work, I'm like, this was like 2 versions of me ago.
So you're gonna share a table?
Yeah, I got 2 buds who we share an enthusiasm for like tide pool creatures and wet things, wet living things.
Nice.
So our title collectively is the Tide Fools. Shout out to
That's
Do
so
Young and
great.
Arthur. And so we're gonna try to have like a tide pool themed table that we're all gonna cram into. I hope we get in. I so badly want to get in, but because of that, I felt energized to like actually start making some plans to get the comics / zines that I want to make going. So I wrote down some zine ideas, and of course I lied on the application like we always do, where you say the zine's maybe more done than it is.
Yeah.
And none of these ones exist right now. So if I do get in, I have about 2 months to make all these zines. So I've kind of mentally shifted.
Well, how many do you need if you're sharing a table?
Say that one more time.
How many do you need?
you don't need a certain amount, but it did say 80% of the things on the table need to be zines. Like you can't just only sell like t-shirts and stickers.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I want to make like 3 or 4 zines, which is a lot. And I want one of them to be like an actual comic, like fully written and inked and stuff. And so I'm kind of going crazy with this because I'm like, now's the time to live my life. Now's the time to like go ham on this comic and actually make it instead of just writing out story ideas over and over and over in my sketchbook and showing nobody. So I'm kind of just going crazy with that right now of just like meeting up with friends at coffee shops and being like, this is what I'm working on. It's not done yet, but I'm telling you, and ask me about it next week. But yeah, I'm trying to just really fully commit to making these zines as if it is my job, because animation's just not really hiring right now. And rather than wallow in that, I think I'm just going to try to take it in stride and be like, I have this chance to really make my own thing. I am single and I don't have dependents and I can just go for it. And now's the time to do it. So that's the hope. That's the plan. I'm telling all my friends about the zines I'm trying to make, or like more specifically my deadlines more than the content itself. Yeah, and I want it to happen. I feel I'm trying to believe in myself more that I can actually pull these things off, because I think I get very very defeatist about it, of like, this is too much. I don't know how to do this, and like that's what's kept me from making the thing. So, but I'm like, I have the skills.
You always do.
I try, man. I have the skills. It's just like it's the unknown, and like all the like complicated admin stuff that I don't know how to do. That's where it gets me. But I'm like, I draw so much. Like, I know I can do this. I have to believe that at least. So I'm trying to believe in myself. I'm making zines to believe in myself and to just get my stuff out there.
Amazing. I totally get you about the admin stuff. That's what kept me from applying for any tabling thing without you for so long. I was like, I can't do that. You have to fill out a form? You kidding me?
Well, if you ever want to table at something and I'm not there, I'll just get on a call and pretend like I'm going to table with you, and then
oh, good idea.
And then you can do the same for me, so that we can both make our way through 3 pages of Google Forms to actually do these things.
Perfect. How much is LA Zine Fest? How much does that cost?
Oh, I think it's like I'm trying to remember. I think it's like 100 for a half table and like 150 for a whole table or something.
That's pretty good, I guess.
I mean, it is like a big one. Like, it's very popular.
Yeah. You will get seen and noticed.
Yeah. Get in my zine scene. In the zine scene.
Exactly. So what are you into right now?
I'm really into, I don't know, I feel like I'm just having a lot of conversations with myself. That sounds like I'm crazy. Yeah, I'm crazy.
I
but
love it.
Let me finish. Let me finish. I think I'm just trying to like challenge. I'm sorry, I'm shaking my table so much as I readjust in my seat here to get deep. I think I'm trying to, let me get a clean take. I'm trying to just challenge a lot of those ideas within myself that I can't do things. Like what I was just talking about. I think I'm just like noticing all these like just anxieties that I've held on to, but I haven't really thought about for a long time. Like doing those forms, for example. I'm like, if I fuck up the forms for applying to Zine Fest or whatever, that's okay. Like, I mean, maybe not that one, because it's kind of a pass fail if you actually turn it in. But I did it. Like, I gave myself like an hour and a half to fill it out, I told my friends I'm applying with, I'm like, okay, I am going to send you the information at 9 p.m. that we need to have for the form. And then I did it. And it's a small thing,
Wow.
but like that's a win for me. And like, yeah, just re-examining like how I cope when negative feelings come up. Like a lot of the time I just go into like mania mode, but like yesterday I was feeling so shitty, just like rotting in my house. And this was after like I had a pretty good day, but just like one thing totally
Mm.
sent me spiraling. Like basically I didn't check my bank account before I sent in my rent check and it bounced. So
Oh no.
that's a cool hundo that I owe them on top of the regular rent, and I need to do this after this call.
No.
So that sent me, spiraling for a bit. But then it was like 7 p.m. and I was like, I haven't moved and I'm laying in bed and I feel awful. And rather than keep laying in bed, I'm like, well, I need to do my Pikmin Bloom walk. And then I did like a 10,000 step walk and I was like, I feel human again. So
Wow.
it, yeah, I think I'm just trying to challenge those parts of me that feel helpless or are just so used to doing things a certain way. And I'm like, okay, I can change. Like I'm capable of changing. I'm capable of like retraining my brain. I haven't like totally calcified into like a just cranky old person who's so set in their ways. Like there's still time to adjust and like find a healthier version of me, even if it's really hard to even want to do that. Like being
Yeah.
that earnest and caring for myself feels cringe at times. Like I cringe at myself, even though like those are the good things you're supposed to be doing. It's I think the destructive artist in me wants to like hold on to the chaos, but I don't know.
Oh
There's
yeah.
enough chaos already, so I'm like, chaos is a given. I guess I should take care of myself.
Yeah, there's plenty of chaos outside of you.
Yeah,
But I get you. I mean, is that part of um like for me, the fear of being boring. So it's like, well, chaos is better than boring.
yeah, definitely. That's some Enneagram 4 energy right there. Like, I have to be interesting. I can't show my whole ass because
Yeah.
then they'll know exactly all of who I am and then I won't have any surprises.
I'm so bad at having surprises.
I know you said that last episode that you like can't keep secrets, but I
That's right.
I feel like you always have some new thing you're doing, whether it's that's a calculated, premeditated thing to seem interesting, or if it's just you. I think it's just you, though.
Thank you. That's so nice. I can't think of anything that I've ever like done that I didn't tell a million people about because well, for one, like I get excited. Like when I was watching Ninja Turtles last night, I had to text all my friends about it.
You gotta.
And then I was like had to post on Instagram about it and I'm like this could have been like an interesting fun thing about me where I'm like I secretly really love Ninja Turtles, but I can't keep a secret.
I mean, the movie was just that delightful, though. You want to talk about
It
it.
was so
I
good.
like that they all became friends at the end. That was nice.
I know. I really wanted that to happen and then it did.
Yeah, because that never
And I was
happens.
so worried. I know. I was so worried for Splinter at the beginning. I was like, is he going to die? Is he going to die? Is he going to end up like just alone and his only like reassurance was he raised his turtles correctly and whatever. But then he found love. And generally, I'm like cynical about romance and whatnot. But I was like, for him, I can accept this.
Who does he end up with again? Is it the manta ray
He ends up
or is it the
no, he ends up
crocodile?
with the cockroach lady.
Oh, right, right, right.
No, the cockroach one that like speaks in a gibberish language.
That's
So
right.
funny.
What a great movie.
Did I tell you I started the movie over as soon as it ended and I watched it all the way through twice?
Oh, see, it's just that good. You got to talk about it.
Yeah, so good. I can't remember why I brought that up, but oh yeah, I don't keep secrets. But then you validated me and I felt better. We've been on a roll of validating each other and I am so appreciative.
So true. We gotta. I believe in you because you believe in
Yeah.
me, and that's the best we can do sometimes.
Yeah. So nice. I had so many other thoughts and they're gone. I feel like people are going to be bored by my hand cam today.
That's okay. I think people more just listen because the art doesn't happen very fast.
This is true. You can go ahead and put in the comments if you're just listening, and please don't tell me that you're bored.
Hey, if you're bored, sound off. We want the engagement, so we enjoy our haters. We love a heel.
Oh no, I don't. I'm not going to read the comments.
Okay, that's fine. I don't think I even gave you access to the the YouTube channel yet. Oops.
Perfect. I don't need
Tell
it.
me about haters, Beth.
Haters?
Is that a real fear of
I've had
yours?
very few haters. Yeah, I mean, anytime I'm just not good at criticism, you know? Oh, you know what? I did get a hater one time. I posted on Reddit about a class I was teaching, and I just posted like the infographic, which had a painting that I did as a sample. And then someone commented and said, did you upload the correct photo? Because this looks like a kid made it. And I was like,
Bruh.
excuse me? I was so pissed.
Woof.
And then I did calm down and I wrote something back that was like very positive. I was like, a childlike vibe is my style. I'd love to see what yours is.
That's probably the nicest comment anybody has ever left on Reddit was what you said in reply to the average Reddit comment, which is just someone being awful for no reason. In truly a tiny community, I'd imagine.
Well, it was the New York City Reddit, so I'm never posting in there again.
It's probably that guy who yells at the trumpet player in the subway station. Have you seen that video? You know who I'm talking about?
No, but I can imagine. What does he
He's
do?
just this extremely short and angry little man who's just like yelling at this like the guy looks like he's like 20 and he's just like trying to busk and play the trumpet and like the guy's just like you stink. I can't do it justice.
Oh my
I can't do it justice,
gosh.
but if you've seen it, you know. He's like he's one of those like New Yorkers that everybody sees. Like he's just around just being a terrifying little
I
gremlin
guess I
man.
haven't.
Yeah. Maybe you'll see him one
That's
day
so
yelling at
sad.
like a guitar player.
I probably will
Yeah.
now. Oh my gosh. There was someone like at Central Park the other day that was singing and they were really bad. And me and Brooke were like, who let him have a mic?
Probably bought it himself.
But we were trying to be like quiet
Yeah.
about it. But then there was also this band that was carrying all their gear across the street before we got to the
Mm-hmm.
park. And they smelled so bad. Like literally, they stank. They smelled so bad. We had to cross the street to get away from them.
Goodness.
And then we saw these other people like make a face that we're making, and they also crossed the street. And then we ended up like behind them again. And then we separated. And then we found them playing their music, and they were really good. But there was like a big circle around them. And I was like, I wonder if all that space is because they smell so bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm like they're probably leaving a wide berth for a reason. That's
Yeah, but they were really
yeah,
good.
man. That's like a walking cliche of what a aspiring band is like. Just they all live in the same
Yes,
closet that they paid $9,000 for a month,
exactly.
and then they all just stink.
And they don't have a shower. Their water
Yeah,
probably doesn't
they have to
work.
go into the hallway to use the communal shower, which is like always broken.
That's definitely what happened to them. Oh my gosh. It was so funny to see them again. We were like, those are the stinky guys.
Maybe that's part of their gimmick. You know, bands always have to have a gimmick. Maybe theirs is this: they smell bad. They rock, but they stink.
Maybe. We were wondering if it was a stink bomb. It was
Oof.
so bad.
Okay, I'm having a change of heart about what I'm drawing. I think
Okay.
because I was gonna try to paint it today, but I think I might just do the line art and then maybe I can have you paint it or add something into it.
Oh, well, I mean, what I'm going to do is going to be colorful anyway. So I think just line art is
Okay.
good. Then you won't influence my color choices.
Yeah.
So tell us about what it was like posting the last episode.
Oh, dude, it's I want instant recognition and validation for all the hard work I put into a podcast that ostensibly nobody sees, and I do zero effort to market it outside of the people who already follow us.
Well, no offense to the people who do watch it. You're not nobody.
So true. You're our nasty little freaks, and we love you, and we want to kiss you on the mouth when we see you in the street, even if you stink.
Only if you wear our merch,
Yeah.
though. Otherwise, I won't know you're a nasty little
If you wear our merch and you're kind of cute, I will kiss you on the mouth, I guess.
Yeah,
Wait, we don't have
guaranteed.
merch. Okay, good. I don't have to kiss anybody. Whew. Yet.
No, we don't, but people could make their own merch.
We're already asking them to listen to a podcast. Isn't that enough damage to them already?
They can't help it. They like us so much.
Yeah. Okay, to answer your question for real though, like I think in my existence on the internet, I know I was joking about that I make no effort to like reach outside of the group of people who already know me in real life and follow me. But I don't want to be perceived, because once you're like reaching that far out into the world, you're going to get randos, and randos are unpredictable, and I don't want people to be mean to me.
That's yes,
The
the
haters.
haters.
I don't think I've ever gotten big enough to have haters really on like any of the random comics I make that occasionally will like escape out of my internet pocket that I live in. Which I'm like, good. I think
Yeah.
having a hater is probably a sign that you have crossed some sort of threshold, like in terms of recognition of like, you're not just seen as like
Yeah.
a friend of a friend. You're like, oh, you're an artist on the internet. Therefore, you are now under the scrutiny of everybody else on the internet, and they can just say what they like about your quality or lack thereof with impunity.
Yeah. I mean, even Zach and Jess have haters. And they're perfect.
Do you want to tell people who Zach and Jess are, since you're on a first name basis with them?
Zach and Jess have a podcast called Off Book, and it's improvised musicals. And it is so funny, and they're brilliant. And I'm obsessed with them, but not in a creepy way.
Well, we did
Right?
chase down Zach on the street to get him to take a picture with you. But
Yeah, well, but
we went to
a
a show for the express purpose of
So-
doing that. And you gave him, wait, did
Yeah.
you give him fan art? I can't remember. Or you had him,
I mailed them fan art, but I don't know
and
if
then
they
you had
ever
him.
got it. Because apparently, Happy Mail doesn't always
Yeah,
make
the
it.
Happy Mail is high mortality rate apparently.
And I used to say, like, that's one thing I like about the mail is it's exciting. You're like, is it going to make it?
Mhm.
Is it going to make it? But now I hate that. I've reached my
Do you
threshold.
take pictures of the mail you send before you send it?
Usually no, but with yours, I have an entire reel of content. And with the one I sent to Zach and Jess, I have a photocopy, which is what I got him
Yeah.
to sign. I made a playbill about one of their musicals, and I had him sign it. And then I went to see, because Zach was the only one there in the improv group. But then I went to see both of them live, and I waited outside, and they never came out.
That was a show. That was an off-book show, though, right?
Yeah, it was an off-book show.
Maybe it was too many rabid fans.
Which you can now listen to on the podcast. They posted it
Oh.
yesterday.
Can you hear yourself laughing in the audience?
Oh, definitely. That was
Yeah.
pretty close.
Do you think you could
The best day of my life.
whisper a plug for Art Girlie Poser Club podcast into the next time you're in a live audience?
Oh my gosh, yes. We hadn't started that yet, I don't think,
You should have been thinking
when
ahead.
I saw them. You're so right. My bad. I think we should just be whispering it all the time. Like walking around and be like,
Art Girlie Poser Club podcast. http:// youtube.com/ Actually, I don't even know what our URL is, but
If we made stickers, I could stick them on the subway, but actually, I probably couldn't because I would die of
yeah.
anxiety. But I could like throw them around. I think I wouldn't feel bad about that.
Yeah, just chuck a handful of people. Like, what's the name of the friend in Hot Rod who just chucks the posters?
Yes, yes, yes. What is this? That's his brother. His brother did that. I think.
No, it's the.
Oh no, no, no! It's the other
Is
guy.
it
It's the guy who
Thompson or
dances.
something like that?
Yeah.
It's some last name as a first name.
I can't believe how long it's been since I've seen that movie. It's so sad.
But that you're just gonna chuck like 100.
Yeah, just like that. Throw them
Yeah.
and then do the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. So good. But then, I mean, it's the constant. You would come up with the right word for this.
Yo, it's the rise and grind every
I wanna do
day.
that.
Every day. Hashtag. Hashtag rise and grind. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag Art Girlie Poser Club podcast. Hashtag approach people in the Target parking lot and hand them your EP. Does that happen to you? Target
Yeah,
parking lot people
that's
handing out
right.
their music?
That only happens in Times Square, and there's signs everywhere that are like, "You don't have to pay them."
They are very aggressive. They force you to listen to the worst thing you've ever heard, and then they demand
Yeah.
money for it.
Actually, the other day, a guy came up and gave me like this little gold token thing, and he was like, "For peace, for peace." And I was like, "Thank you." But then he was like trying to like force a
Ugh,
bracelet into my hand. And I was like, "Ah, never mind, never mind,"
not peaceful.
because I figured he would
Yeah.
probably make me pay for peace.
Yeah, somebody did the like walk up to me in Target parking lot and try to sell me his CD, and I'm like, I truly don't even have a CD player. Like I can't buy this. I don't have anything to play on it.
Did you
Yeah.
tell him
And then
that?
he's like, okay, what about like, Spotify? I'm like, okay, my move is like, I'll take a picture on my phone and I'll listen to it later. So that's my pivot. That's my no but,
Nice.
and it usually works.
I've done stuff like that before. If someone tells me about their show, or like one time there was a guy on the subway that was playing, I think, saxophone. He was really good. And then we were talking. He was telling me where he plays normally, and in the moment, I'm like genuinely like, I might go to his show. And as soon as I get home, I like write it in my phone and stuff. As soon as I get home, I'm like, no, I'm not. But it's very genuine
Yeah.
in the moment.
Yeah. There's a time in your life when you're like what, 19 or 20, and you're like, I will be spontaneous and I'll go to this stranger's show, and it's mostly that window of time in your life where you do that, and any other time you're like, no, I don't want to get murdered somewhere by a saxophone player.
Mostly, I'm just like, I'm tired and I gotta save my energy for my
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
And I'm 30. Oh, I loved what you were saying earlier about um, recognizing that you can change and you don't have to be a grump kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have caught myself lately being very old grumpy, like in that Portlandia with early onset grumpiness. Like when the kids laugh too loud and I'm like, what's so funny?
I just get grumpy that people have offspring, which is maybe not fair of me.
Me too. And I work with them and I do love them. But then every once in a while I'm like, I can't keep up. And the other day there was like a festival on our street. So no one had anywhere to park. So the cars were just lined up and just honking and honking. And I was like, New York is the worst.
Yeah, I kind of get people who honk like that now, though. I'm like, I get it. I'm there with you, bud.
You do?
Like,
Ugh.
I don't honk, but when people are driving so awful and they're just like sitting there, like at a left turn, and when there's nobody coming and they're just not going, I'm like, maybe you don't deserve to be alive. Maybe
Oh my
you
gosh.
should be removed from this world. And then I'm like,
Maybe you'd be a good driver here.
I I don't think I would ever want to do that. I'm okay at LA driving because I have to, but I don't think I could do New York driving. There's too many pedestrians to hit.
There are, yeah. I'm one of those. But when people walk too slow, I get mad at them too. There's so much to be mad about. It's like I get why people get real grumpy. But then when somebody's grumpy towards me, I'm like, what are you mad about? There's so much to be happy about. So I'm just judgy all the way around.
How do you stay hopeful? Maybe in specifically what we're doing, which is like trying to stay alive and make our art pay the bills.
How do I stay hopeful? That is broad. Um, Great question. Wow. How do I stay hopeful? Do I have any hope? When it comes to art, it's not so much like having hope as it is I can't not be making stuff
Yeah.
because I will die.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not like, oh, maybe this time I'll like actually make money. Maybe this time people will like it. It's just like, well, I can't help it. So keep going. And I do think like I do believe that I am an artist for a reason. So I have that hope of like purposefulness where I'm like, I believe I was created to do this, so there must be a reason, and I'm gonna trust that it will be used for like to bring people joy.
Mm-hmm.
I hope. At least like it gives me joy when I'm making something.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
think
yeah.
that tracks. I think I kind of joke that I'm like, well, I've dumped all my skill points into only this one thing. I don't know how to do anything else to make money. And like maybe that's kind of true, but yeah, I think I feel the same way where I'm like it's a compulsion. Like I only know how to do this. Like this is just how I am
Mm-hmm.
alive and like I don't usually think of my art as like therapy, but I'm like if I'm not drawing or like the days where I don't channel some of my madness into something, those are worse days than when I'm like going crazy but then actually like turning it into a drawing. Like even if I don't think about it in the moment, I'm like this does make a difference to like get my feelings and my thoughts somewhere that's not just rattling around in my brain. Um,
Yes.
and yeah, I was also thinking when I took my long walk yesterday, I was really considering like, what if what if I don't do like the animation thing forever? Because it's such a young person's game. Like you don't see everybody looks like the same age as me and like no older, which is really concerning because
Mm,
I'm 30, which is not
that's
that
crazy.
old, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm like, where do the people go? Like how they got a lot more years to live usually. How are they making this work? And yeah, I think that's the first time in a long time where I'm like, what if there's an end in sight for this career path? And that's a really scary thought. I hadn't really given that like room to exist in my brain. Like maybe I joke about it, but like really having that thought and like would I be okay like not doing animation after spending so much of my life trying to get
Mm,
into this? And
that is so hard.
yeah, it was scary, but at the same time like I think I was like, well, I'll probably end up doing this no matter what in one form or another. And I'm already so beholden to terrible corporate interests. Like there's always some push and pull and give and take of like what I'm doing for me versus what I'm doing for somebody else. So maybe that'll just always be part of it. And maybe it's just like learning to accept accept that it'll only ever be like partially my vision when I'm getting paid for it. And like making stuff for
Yeah,
myself, like those
yeah.
zines and stuff, that just has to be, I have to decide I care about it that much to actually make it. And like maybe one day, like that's something people actually buy, and like maybe that could like pay some bills, but I can't come at it from that angle. I have to like come at it from I truly love this and I want to make it just to make it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. As soon as it's like with the book that I finished recently, sort of finished, I had a lot of hope for it at first, and I was thinking like, oh my gosh, this could actually be published. I could maybe make money on it. People will know about me. And it didn't take long for me to be like, maybe not.
Yeah.
But and then it's like, well, I enjoyed making it so much. I can just self-publish, and that's not a loss because I really enjoyed it, and some people will like it,
Yeah.
and it helped me get better, improved, and the next book will be even better. It's just so hard when everything. I know we talk about this all the time, but everything costs money.
Yeah, for real.
But I'm still reading that book about Van Gogh, and it's very encouraging because he had no money whatsoever. He was really struggling, but he just believed in himself so much. He didn't care that his brother was supporting him, and that was the only way he was able to eat. He was just like, "I'm gonna do this. This is what I'm meant to do." Unashamed.
Yeah, I think even being that unashamed feels kind of cringe, and like I pump the brakes on that a lot of the time of like not wanting to be too much with how much I commit to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are people where it's like they're making art in such a self-destructive way where like you see them every once in a while and you're like, oh, you don't look good. Like you're not
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
outside enough. Like this art is coming at like it's directly coming from your life force. And like I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I wouldn't want to ever be that much into it. Like I think my idealized version of myself is like I'm doing all this stuff, but it's also I'm well rounded. Um,
Oh yeah, and you are well on your way to
oh,
well-rounded.
I'm trying so hard, man. It's so much work just to like clock into existence every day. But um,
You go to the gym. You have
I have
friends.
not been going to the gym I pay for. I'm so okay. I'm not gonna be mean to myself.
Okay, well, you pay for a
I pay
gym,
for a
so
gym,
that's
so
great.
that's almost like going to the
You
gym.
do yoga with Adrian.
Sometimes, occasionally.
I know you did it. I know you did
I did
recently.
like one.
So
Okay, I
don't
did one
pretend.
wind down session like 2 nights ago. But hey, it's something, I suppose.
Yeah, it is. We do have to wrap this up because it has been a good amount of time.
That's
I don't know
true.
how much exactly, but I do have to go pretty soon.
Good, because
So I don't know how we should come up with a way to end these so we're not like lost at the end. Like a segment.
maybe we have to consciously choose to still be doing art girly things at the end of every episode. Like you have the option to you have the option to leave. The door is open, but at the end of every episode we decide if we want to do it or not.
Oh, like a recommitment kind
Yeah,
of
we're
thing, like a
recommitting
cult.
to the lifestyle, even though it hurts us so much.
Should we chant?
I don't think it's gonna work over a Zoom call. Maybe we should make a the art girly oath or something.
Ooh, Art Girlie
Yeah.
Oath.
I
That
state your
sounds good.
name. Do solemnly
I.
swear. Do solemnly swear to commit and abide by the art girly lifestyle, documenting every piece of media I make, every hangout I have with my creative friends, and turn all of my cute ideas into merchandise for strangers to buy.
I hope you wrote
I
that
already
down.
forgot.
Well, this is
Yeah.
recorded, so that's good. Let's see if I
Yeah.
can remember it. I
I
solemnly
solemnly
swear
swear.
to continue the Art Girlie lifestyle, recording everything I do,
Mhm.
and making cute things for strangers to buy.
Forever and
That
ever.
was the
Amen.
condensed version because I don't
Yeah.
remember. Forever and ever, always. Um, Perfect. The end.
The end.
I swollenly swear to come back next time and record another podcast.
Yes,
with
I
you.
solemnly swear to come back and record one with you, because even if the Art Girlie thing doesn't work, even if the microphones aren't recording, I still have a good time doing this, that's what the Art Girlie life is really about. Pretending like you're here for the money, but you're here for the vibes.
Oh, so true. If we were here for the money, we wouldn't be doing this. We'd be
Yeah,
doing
we'd be
something
making
else.
money and not being idiots.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
We're so wise.
Okay,
We're
say
so
goodbye.
good at this.
Say goodbye to your fans.
Bye, you nasty little freaks. I hate you. I love you. Kiss me on the mouth if you buy my merch.
Make merch and send it to us.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Oh my gosh. I almost hang up every time.